AskReddit by SleepyDog45. What are some really bad common life choices? Staying in a bad situation because you are afraid of changing it. The comfort zone is deadly. Dating the wrong person for too long. Wrong career. Substance abuse. Not saying no often enough. Overspending on expensive luxury goods. Murder. Constant indecision will ultimately cause you to suffer. That you, shitty? Credit card debt. The truth, I racked up 16k in credit card debt during my youth. It finally hit me how much of a hole I was in, and I have 3 jobs to pay it off as quickly as possible. I'm down to the final 3k, 2 more months and I'm credit card free. Not getting enough sleep. This experienced sleep deprivation psychosis as a result of a mix of stress and lacking sleep. I wouldn't wish it on the worst enemy. I stopped seeing properly with my right eye, and an hour or two later my whole right side became numb. And that was not the worst part. Then I had problems with understanding what people say. I could get lost in a sentence of 5 words. I knew what I wanted to say to someone, but I just couldn't figure out the words. Your whole perception of reality becomes unstable and dizzy. Or throbbing headache added to the mix. Now imagine you experience this in a car in a busy traffic, or on an important job meeting. Take care of yourself, minimize your stress levels and get enough sleep. You can always find some other time to do that which you consider important. Health comes first. Removed. You know, they could have messaged you too. Excess, be that drinking, smoking, eating or just working too much. Deleted. Thinking that a threesome or a baby will fix a bad relationship. Or buying a house. Bad debt on dumb shit. Not taking care of teeth. Having children with essentially random people. I never knew how important dental care was until I got quoted $11,000 Canadian dollars for all the work I would need. I brush twice a day but I never flossed, so I think that was the problem. Using a credit card to buy things without the means to repay it without interest. I first pay the credit and then buy shit, thereby making it a debit card. Getting pregnant to secure your relationship. Failing to invest in yourself. Whether it be learning new skills, exercise, therapy or simply experiencing new things. This is me, and I can tell ya, makes for a shitty life. I love exercise, I'm creative and like learning new things, love adventure. But unable get help for my mental health, so I don't take care of myself. I don't do anything. I just exist. I am miserable, but the misery that I am used to is easier to handle than the stress of seeking help. Think you can do it later. Something you have months to do, then that final weekend and it's holy shit, WTF have I done? Then you just repeat that same BS over and over. Getting sucked into someone else's constant drama and ignoring the needs of you and your family friends. Having children with no means to support them. I've learned from having kids the rare 3 things you need: money, support network and flexible working. If you have 2 of the 3 you can do it, but if you only have 1 of those things it better be money. Sitting for too long, constantly, every day. Don't call me out like that. Getting into and staying in relationships that are bad for you. Also rebounding too quickly after a breakup or divorce. Why do so many people do this? It may sound negative, but I'm pretty sure the odds are high that rebound relationships and marriages aren't going to last long. Because a breakup hurts like hell and immediately being with someone else distracts them from the pain. Also, some people really can't stand being by themselves, which is sad. Getting addicted to nicotine. It's utterly pointless. Doesn't even get you high. Well, in the beginning you get a head rush for like 30 seconds to a minute, but it quickly stops being a thing as the tolerance increases. But it's a bitch to kick once you do get addicted. You just don't know how to be without it anymore. I remember my grandma making me promise to never start smoking. I promised, but I was in my mid-teens back then and smoking seemed cool. E-cigs vapes were still like 10 years ahead. Well, it all started with me occasionally bumming a cigarette from the cool kids, eventually asking the older kids to buy me a pack, and I ended up a full-time smoker for almost 10 years. Like during the ages 16-26 I smoked. Nowadays I use nicotine pouches for harm reduction, but damn, it's a totally pointless addiction to have. I basically use it just to curb the craving. Doesn't make me feel good or alter my mind in any way, like weed or alcohol would. The patch helped me quit. I stayed on the lowest level for like 6 months before jumping off. You can get a box for about $20 on Amazon. I hope you can break free of your nicotine addiction. Best of luck. Doing unprotected hookups. A girl I hooked up with 3 months ago was begging me not to use a condom, and just last week I learned she has chlamydia. Never a risk worth taking. Having kids before you do some research, have the funds, and make a realistic, solid plan. Practicing with those babies from high school sounds silly, but if more men and women did it and tried to keep the thing fed and happy while living adult lives and not the ones they had in high school, this may change a lot of misconceived ideas about how child rearing actually goes. Seriously. I also find that a lot of people who are expecting a baby do a ton of research on the pregnancy, maybe a bit of research and readings on infant care, and then nothing. Every parent should read child development textbooks. The information is so fucking helpful and will bring you to better understand why children are the way that they are. I'm not a mom, but I'm currently babysitting full time, and goddamn, my half a degree in early childhood education is getting some damn good use. Having kids while unemployed, too young, unprepared, unstable relationship. Or even worse, having kids as a sticking plaster for a failing relationship. Having more kids than you can afford, having more kids than you can adequately provide the attention and quality time they need. I find this to be especially true because people put a lot of emphasis on babies being the expensive part, when in reality the most expensive part comes when they go through puberty, start having friends, playing sports, going to sleepovers, caring what they wear, etc. So people have another baby thinking, oh, we afforded that last baby really easily. We can have another one. The question isn't whether you can afford another baby, it's whether you can afford another teenager. Spending stupid amounts of money on a wedding. My old boss, who was a huge flexer, let it slip that he is still paying off his wedding 8+ years later. So yeah, I'd add putting a wedding on credit cards. Marrying too soon. And starting your life together in debt after your big wedding and honeymoon. Starting to smoke cigarettes. Staying on a dead-end job. Going to university only because you think you have to. For some people it is a good decision, but it is not for everyone, and there are other options. Wish someone had mentioned that 13 years ago. Marrying or having a baby with the wrong person. Being attracted to someone who's not your partner because you live with your partner and are well versed with their negative traits. People will think someone they don't live with every day is perfect until they realize they have to eat, sleep and shit just like the rest of us. It's easy to idolize someone you don't live with. The shiny attractive stranger is always going to seem more appealing when you don't consider that you haven't known them intimately for years. Don't mess up your life to cheat and leave your partner for someone you believe seems perfect, before you even have a chance to realize they're just as flawed as the rest of us. Having kids with someone who isn't responsible. Basically having a child with a grown-ass child. Having a baby with the wrong person. Not saving for the future. This is probably an unpopular opinion here on Reddit, but dropping out of college. It can work for some people, but mostly it doesn't. Fantastic advice. And if you've already spent tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars on college, you may as well see it through until the end. I don't care how hard or miserable it feels, most people absolutely can suck it up, put their heads down, work hard and end up graduating with a respectable grade. Whether or not you do what it takes is a choice. College dropouts like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg didn't drop out because they were demotivated. They were actually supremely hard-working star students and dropped out because they had multi-billion-dollar opportunities to pursue, and college was just wasting their precious time. They also both dropped out of Harvard, not community college. Unless you're a star student at Harvard, with an amazing startup on the side, you're probably not going to be Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg after dropping out. More likely you'll just be broke, in debt, with mediocre career prospects and with no degree to show for it. I can't stress enough how important it is to be educated. Complete graduation. Learn some skills, analytical, arts, math, research, and anything that'll help you earn money. Face tattoo. Not having a daily toothbrushing regimen. Having a children when they're not entirely sure whether or not they want children. To anyone who's reading this and currently in two minds, it's probably better to regret not having children than regret having them. From my own experiences. Starting to smoke, specifically tobacco, but that also works with weed. Quitting sport, never exercising. Not going to bed early enough. I fixed the first two now, didn't think sleeping enough would be the hardest of the three, haha. I would add not relaxing enough. One semester of school where basically every waking hour was spent on something, plus other responsibilities, gave me horrible anxiety for months afterwards. You cannot ever do as much work as you initially think, and you should treat relaxing as high in importance as showering and sleeping. Do either this or die early from stress. Having an affair. From someone in the US, making an 18-year-old choose a college university major. Who you are at 18 is not who you are at 30. And it's that 30-year-old who is like, well, this is now how I thought it would be at all. I hate this. The EU and Aussies have it right that one should take some time off between primary school and higher education to just be a young adult and learn about yourself. Then come back a couple years later and make more informed decisions. Having throwaway jobs when you're young isn't wasting time, it's grow up time. Getting pregnant with someone you don't even know. If you want to have sex with strangers, more power to you, but use birth control. Having children to save a dysfunctional relationship. Lack of sleep, skipping meals. I feel personally attacked, lol. Going along with it, when you know it's wrong. Smoking. Procrastinating. Heroin. Credit card debt. Having children when you can't afford it just because you want one. Not trying your best at school. You only get one shot at a free K-12 education. Don't waste it.